Hey, Mr. Jones. This is for Camping Marine Branch Requirement 1C to show first aid for hypothermia, frostbite, heat reactions, dehydration, altitude sickness, insect stings, tick bites, snake bite, blisters, and hyperventilation. So I'm going to go through each one of those, treatment, and how to prevent it. So the first thing is hypothermia. So this happens whenever you're super freezing cold. You're in a very, I'm not freezing cold, but most hypothermia reactions happen in like 40 or 50 degrees Celsius. It's where your body temperature drops suddenly, and you really need to slowly warm up. So for the treatment of this is to get in a warm area where you're not in that situation anymore, like escort out as fast as you can. Slowly drink water, and don't drink water too fast, because it's not like I can, like the exact analogy applies if I get in my truck, start it, and immediately hit the gas at full speed. Like that's not gonna work well for it. It's like probably gonna break down or have problems. So same thing for here. Drink slow sips of water, and make sure you rehydrate if you're dehydrated, and also sitting in a warm environment to where you are like slowly warming back up, and not like like roasting over a fire to because you're like that cold or anything. So you want to get into neutral positions where you're slowly recovering. For frostbite, this is an extreme. Like there's some of these first aid things that you can't really do anything. Just get them out of the situation and call 911. And those are extreme conditions. So this is for frostbite. That's wherever your fingers like happen to like be really freezing, or your toes are really freezing, and like it's like turns black, or it's dead skin, so you can't really do anything about it. It's like where it basically freezes off, and that usually happens whenever you're in cold, snowy environments, and you submerge yourself in ice cold water. So for the treatment of that is like get out of that situation as fast as possible, get in a warm environment, and make sure someone's there to support you to kind of rest, and have someone else call emergency helplines or 911 immediately. And to prevent frostbite is just to wear lots of layers of clothing, wear gloves, wear thick boots and everything to prevent any sources of your skin to touch any of those super cold environments. Also, to prevent hypothermia from earlier is to same thing, if to make sure you're always warm and at a neutral temperature. Like for um, if you're like hiking up and it's like 40 degrees, and actually like I actually learned this from Mr. Barber. People get hypothermia from if like hiking up really tall mountains, and it's like super hot. So then they try, like they're really sweating, and they're cooling down, and they get in a shaded area. All of a sudden now they have hypothermia because they're cooling down way too fast, and they're submerging their trying to get cold really fast, and that can happen. So way to prevent that is just be mindful of what your temperature is at, and slowly warm up or slowly cool down if you're in an extreme situation like that. So just be mindful of like how your temperature is at. So for heat reactions, there's heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Heat stroke is just heat exhaustion to the next level. And all you can do for heat stroke is if heat exhaustion goes too far, so you need to call 911 and get out of that situation. But for heat exhaustion, this happens whenever you're out in super hot environments, like if you're a lifeguard working around a pool in the summertime, and you're cleaning the pool and everything. Heat exhaustion can definitely happen if you're not hydrated well enough, and it's caused from like sun directly shining on you, and you're like really heating up, and you're sweating a lot, and you may pass out or faint. So that's like what heat exhaustion really kind of happens, and the treatment for that is that you want to try to get yourself out of the situation as fast as possible. So if someone notices you have heat exhaustion, either call for help, or if you can't really move at all, and try to get into cool environment, basically where you're able to slowly cool down. Like you never want to go from super cold to super hot as fast as you can. Like same thing with my truck analogy. You can't do everything sudden. It needs to be gradual. That way your body can has time to recover and actually like get back to a normal state. So for the treatment that for the heat exhaustion is to escort yourself as fast as possible. Get into a cool environment, like lay down, rest, definitely drink water, slow sips of cold water. Make sure you get hydrated well enough, because it mainly happens if you're dehydrated. And yeah, that's heat exhaustion. And for heat stroke is just that, but to the next level is where you pass out and you faint and you're unconscious. So same thing for heat exhaustion. For heat stroke, someone needs to call 911 immediately and get them over here as soon as possible, and they can take care of that. And to prevent both of those, make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're like you can cool off every once in a while. Like for example, my lifeguard situation, if you're cleaning pools and you kind of get hot, you can either dip yourself in the pool real fast to kind of cool off if the water's cold enough, or sit in the shade. Any of those methods to get your body always regulated instead of increasing temperature all the time, and then bam, that's heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Instead you want to do this, like cool down, that kind of like range of how you want your body temperature to regulate. So just make sure you're in a cold environment every once in a while, and make sure you're hydrated for the heat reactions. For dehydration, this is very simple. Everyone knows what this is. Just when you don't have sufficient water in your body, and this happens whenever you don't have water and you're always active. You're walking, running, and your heartbeat is like really high for long periods of time. So your body needs water to for fuel and to produce like sweat to kind of cool you off. And if you have absence of that, if you have absence of dehydration, like absence of water, then you need to get in an environment like kind of opposite where you're kind of at. So if in the summertime, if you're really hot, get in a cold environment and drink water and rest. If you're in a like really cold environment and like you really need water, try to see if you can kind of warm up a little bit to kind of get your body in neutral temperature, and drink water slowly to make sure your body gradually gets back to a normal state of where it's supposed to be. So making sure you're hydrated and drinking some amounts of water. That's like the mainly like the treatment for dehydration. It's just whenever you're not, your body doesn't have sufficient water in it. And to prevent dehydration, just drink water all the time. Like that's like number one thing. Like I started drinking water little bit ago, and I noticed lots of improvements and to my health. And like when I go to the gym and stuff, water is crucial for your body to stay hydrated and for it to function properly. Next is altitude sickness. This happens whenever you're hiking up a mountain, going really high, and you're at a high enough level to where you're starting getting dizzy, you're nauseous, you're coughing. So that's altitude sickness. So the treatment for that, like since you're really high, start descending immediately as soon as you get that sickness. So you want to be a lower elevation to normal air pressure and temperature, and that's really the treatment for that. And things to help you kind of not be so sick is rest. Get plenty of rest. Like just sit down, kind of look at the natural beauty of weather if you're hiking up, and eat food to get you in a comfortable position and state, and drink fluids, like especially water or an energy drink to get your energy back up. So yeah, that's altitude sickness. Just descend as fast as possible, and to prevent this, to prevent altitude sickness is make sure your body is able to be in high altitude. So a good way to do that is to hike up slowly, not like run up or like speed walk like straight up with no brakes. That's like you don't know if your body's able to withstand altitude sickness. Just hike up slowly to see if it is, and if it's not, then you should probably not hike up that high for like a little bit until your body is able to actually hike up. Next is insect stings. So for insect stings, you want to basically like wasp stings or hornets. First thing you should do is that applying cold pads onto the bite will really relieve the pain and get the pain rid of. And once it's like been on there for a little while, you can't really feel pain, you can put a Band-Aid on top of it to kind of let your body kind of heal on its own. That's kind of your treatment. And then to prevent it, just use bug spray or lots of clothing to prevent insects even getting in there. So that's like kind of insect stings. What is like the treatment, how to prevent it? Just wear wear clothing, bug spray, anything to get insects not out of yourself. Like, just a good example would be jeans, wearing jeans or long sleeve shirts that can really get insects to not sting you. So next one would be tick bites, and tick bites happen whenever you're in high grasses and stuff, and they most come like they get on your legs. It's usually always where they usually get on your legs and stuff. So for treatment of tick bites is that you want to make sure you have a handy pair of tweezers nearby, and tweezers are the approved most beneficial way of removing tick bites. So you want to carefully remove them, and then immediately like wash it out, wash it out with soap and water to make sure that you're wash it with soap and water to clean the area, and then you can apply bandage or antiseptic, I think that's what it's called, and that's for the treatment for the tick bites. And then to prevent it is to just wear jeans, long pants, and protect your skin, so that way they can't get on it. Next one is snake bite. Snake bite is an extreme first aid thing, so you want to get yourself away from the snake as fast as possible, and get in a comfortable position to where the venom is not like thriving or doing more harm. But obviously, as soon as you get the snake bite, someone needs to call 911 or helplines, and they need to arrive to relieve that pain. So to prevent snake bites is just to preventing snake bites is really easy. Just don't put your legs and hands in like holes and like invisible area or not visible areas where you don't know what could be kind of in that area. And you want to make sure that like you're out of those areas where you can just kind of watch out for snakes. Watch out where you sit. You don't know if you're sitting on a snake or near one, so just wear good clothing as well, like jeans and long sleeve shirt that can help kind of prevent it. And yeah, just watch where you go to see where there's snakes. But that's an extreme situation, so call 911 immediately. So second to last would be blisters. Blisters happen whenever there's high friction on areas on your skin, and to treat blisters is to basically it's like a little bubble thing. So you want to immediately apply bandage or moleskin on the blister and kind of let that heal on its own. You never want to like rip it out or pop it. Like that would cause it to be able to be visible or prone to infections, and you don't want infections in your body. You want to keep it infections out by not popping it and applying moleskin or bandage on top of it, and just kind of let it heal on its own. And to prevent blisters, just like it mainly happens on your feet, like on your shoes and stuff, like where your skin or socks are always rubbing against the shoe. Like when you're hiking, like loose shoes, for example, like to prevent it, just apply moleskin on it beforehand. That way, there's zero friction on the skin, and it's like there's a protective pad doing all the friction for you, and your skin is not shaking around. The moleskin sticks to it, and your skin's always in one spot. So the last one would be hyperventilation, and hyperventilation is whenever you're breathing really fast and you're really scared or you're shocked or something, and you can't really control like how you're feeling. So for hyperventilation, how to kind of prevent hyperventilation, like if you're breathing really hard, basically just you want to get in a situation where you're able to rest and calm down and not like worry so much about your situation, and like get someone to kind of calm you down and rest, and drink water if you're dehydrated. And I mean, water kind of helps in general, but and to prevent hyperventilation, just don't do dumb things. Like don't do things that make you scared or shocked, or if you happen to like get in that trouble, then yeah, you just need to rest and not worry, because you're gonna be fine. It's not like a serious thing, but yeah. So that covers all the first aid, how to prevent and treatment. So that's the requirement.